The very awkward arrival. The transport ship shook a little as it landed on the glowing purple sands of Drazul 5, a strange but beautiful alien world far from Earth. Eric Maddox, a 27-year-old human engineer, stepped out of the craft carrying a small duffel bag and a tablet. His boots crunched softly on the alien ground. The sky above him swirled with twin moons and electric blue clouds. Eric looked around nervously. New world, new job, new apartment. He whispered to himself. Don't mess this up. His first stop, a shared apartment complex arranged by the Planetary Housing Board. He had been assigned to stay with a local, an alien landlady named Zira. The system said she was professional, clean, and respected in the local community. Eric just hoped she wasn't slimy or had too many eyeballs. When he rang the metallic doorbell, the door slid open with a hiss. And then, she appeared. Zira was tall, extremely tall, almost 9 feet. Her skin glowed like polished obsidian. Her 6 glowing yellow eyes blinked slowly, scanning him from head to toe. Long silver hair flowed over her bare shoulders, and her voice came out smooth but cold. You are the human? She asked. Eric nodded nervously. Yeah. Eric Maddox. I brought my papers and step inside. You smell strange, she said flatly, turning away. Eric stepped into the apartment. The walls were alive, literally pulsing softly, and the lights changed color as he walked. Furniture looked like soft rocks and stretched when he sat down. Zira returned with a handheld scanner. You will not cause trouble. Humans are unpredictable, she muttered. I promise I'm very boring, Eric said, trying to smile. She looked at him, confused. Boring? That is not something to be proud of. Right. Sorry. Zira showed him the room. Curved walls, soft bed, a glass window that looked out to a glowing lake. It wasn't bad. Honestly, it was way better than the metal bunk beds on Earth. You may use the cleansing chamber now, Zira said, pointing at a door with purple light glowing above it. Eric thanked her, grabbed a towel, and went inside. The shower was more like a mist spray with humming lights, but it worked. After the long journey, he finally felt clean again. He stepped out of the chamber with just a towel around his waist, stretching and yawning. Then he turned and found Zira standing right in front of him. She looked down, her 6 eyes instantly widening. Her jaw dropped. She pointed at him, or rather at the thing under his towel that wasn't well hidden. What is that? She screamed. Eric froze. What? That mini shy hulud between your legs? She shouted. Is it alive? Is it a weapon? Eric nearly dropped his towel. No, it's not a weapon. It's normal. Zira backed away, eyes darting from the towel to his face. Your species has creatures attached to your body. It's part of me, Eric cried. It's just biology. Zira looked horrified. You are smuggling a living parasite. I saw it twitch. Eric's face turned red. It twitched because, oh, never mind. Suddenly the scanner in Zira's hand lit up. She aimed it at him, scanning his lower body. It has its own blood flow. Oh stars, you brought this into my house without warning. You brought an unknown organism. Eric stumbled back, trying to explain. It's a reproductive organ. For my species. Every human male has one. Zira blinked slowly, absorbing that. This thing is used to create more humans? Well, yeah. She looked even more horrified. It multiplies? Eric sighed and sat down on the edge of the bed, putting his face in his hands. Oh God, I'm going to die naked in an alien apartment. Zira turned away, pacing the room. I must report this. There may be health risks, contamination, interplanetary violation of biosafety rules. No, please don't, Eric begged. I'll wear pants forever. I'll tape it down if I have to. She turned back, slowly walking toward him. You will explain this in detail, all of it. I want to know everything about this thing. Eric looked up at her. Can I at least put on some pants first? There was a long pause. Zira nodded. Yes. Cover the shy hulud. As Eric scrambled to grab his trousers, his heart raced. He had traveled across galaxies for a better job. But now all he could think was, day one, and I've already traumatized my landlady with my junk. Little did he know, this was just the beginning. The bioweapon scandal. Zira didn't sleep that night. She sat at her console, staring at the security footage, frame by frame, zooming in on the moment she had seen the shy hulud. She had lived for 132 years, studied multiple species, but never encountered anything so strange, so twitchy. Her message to the Biosecurity Council was short and serious. Possible biological threat detected. Human male appears to carry a sentient organ. Recommend urgent inspection. The next morning, Eric was brushing his teeth in front of the alien mirror, still processing what happened the night before. He thought things had settled. Then, the wall exploded. 3 tall Drazul security officers marched in with glowing plasma rifles. A small hoverbot hovered over Eric's head, scanning aggressively. "Freeze, human!" one barked. "You are in possession of a suspected bioweapon." Eric choked on his toothbrush. "What?" "Subject a small, independent flesh tube," the bot announced. "Movements detected, possible autonomous functions. Threat level? Undetermined." "Oh, for the love of, it's just my—" "Remove your trousers," another shouted. "No, for science." Eric raised his hands in surrender. Okay, but can someone at least explain what the hell is happening?" Zira entered quietly, arms folded, trying to look serious. But there was a weird guilt in her eyes. "I submitted a biohazard report," she said calmly. "As your landlady, I am responsible for all foreign organisms in the house." Eric's jaw dropped. "You called the alien police on my private parts?" "I thought it was dangerous," she snapped. "It moved on its own." "I was drying off. It was cold." The hoverbot beeped again. "Thermal readings confirm partial shrinkage. Threat may be reduced." Eric face-palmed. The officers took him to the Drazul medical lab, an intimidating sterile facility that smelled like metal and algae. He was placed inside a floating glass tube and told to remain calm. A strange-looking doctor floated in, literally. It had tentacles for legs and a long, lizard-like snout. "I am Dr. Vrux," it said, tapping a long tablet. "I will examine your earth appendage." Eric groaned. "This is the worst day of my life." The doctor leaned in. "Fascinating design, built-in inflation, chemical response. I must say, the architecture is surprisingly elegant." Zira stood behind the observation glass, biting her lip. She didn't know why, but she suddenly felt protective. She never meant for Eric to be humiliated. "He's not dangerous," she whispered to herself. "Just different." After 2 long hours of scanning, poking, and embarrassing questions, Eric was finally released. "He is clear," the medical team declared. "The organ is biological, non-hostile, and part of natural human reproduction. No signs of independence or artificial control." "Thank you," Eric shouted, throwing his arms up. "Finally, can I go now?" But just as he stepped outside, a group of alien journalists surrounded him. "Sir, is it true human males carry live creatures in their pants? Is it used in battle? Can it be trained? Is it safe around children?" Eric screamed and ran all the way home. Back at the apartment, Eric slammed the door behind him. "Zira," he said, panting, "next time you're curious about my anatomy, just ask." Zira looked at him. I didn't expect this outcome. I only wanted to protect my home." He nodded, too tired to argue. "Fine, but no more calling the authorities on my junk, okay?" She gave a small, rare smile. "I promise." They both stood in silence for a moment. Then Zira asked quietly, "Do all humans have identical shy huluds?" Eric glared. "Don't start." Zira turned away, but he caught her grinning. The anatomy lesson. Zira had a problem. It wasn't the human anymore. It was herself. She couldn't stop thinking about it. Not out of fear anymore, but curiosity. Was it really natural? Was it dangerous? Did all human males come with this? Tentacled-looking, heat-sensitive, muscle-controlled fleshworm? She dove deep into EarthNet. Zira sat alone at her glowing desk, her 6 eyes wide as she watched human medical animations, awkward biology lectures, and even some primitive Earth mating videos. She took notes like a scholar. Flexible, reproductive, sensitive to emotion, she whispered, fascinated. And then, wait, size varies by mood? Zira leaned back, stunned. She tapped her wrist pad. Council report update. The Shai-Hulud is not a parasite. It is Earth standard equipment. Morning came. Eric shuffled into the kitchen, yawning. His hair was a mess. He wore a t-shirt with the words, "Keep calm and don't scan me," written across it. He barely noticed Zira at first until he saw an entire whiteboard covered in diagrams of his private parts. He stared. What the hell is this? Zira turned, completely serious. I have questions. Nope. Just 3. Zira, I'm not giving a TED talk on my junk, or please, she said, genuinely this time. I made tea. Eric blinked. You don't even have a mouth. She handed him a strange purple drink that fizzed. It's for you. And I'm sorry. Eric sat slowly, sipping the alien tea. You called the cops on my penis, Zira. I also got you cleared by interplanetary medical law. Fair. She pointed to the board. So, this part is not a weapon? Nope. Not detachable? God, no. Can it aim? Eric choked on his tea. Are you serious? I am conducting research, she said, folding her arms. Your species has a retractable hydraulic reproductive tool. That's amazing. He buried his face in his hands. Please stop calling it that. Zira stepped closer. Eric, when I first saw it, I panicked. My people are not used to such things. Our reproductive system is internal, chemical, and emotionless, but humans are full of fire. There was an awkward silence. Is that a compliment? Eric asked cautiously. I am unsure, but I think it is impressive. Later, that day, Zira invited Eric to the observation dome. She had set up a projector to display a full holographic model of the human body. Eric stood in the center as she explained his biology. Back to him. This is the vascular system, she said, pointing. These are the chest organs. This is your brain, though sometimes I question if it works. Eric rolled his eyes. And this, she said finally, is the Shai-Hulud. Eric groaned. You're seriously keeping that nickname? She nodded with pride. It has become famous on the Drozzle-net. You have over 2.7 million mentions. They call you the man with the wand of flesh. Eric blinked. Kill me. Zira looked at him. No, I want to learn more. He sighed. Okay, fine. Lesson time. As Eric carefully walked her through the basics of human reproduction, he noticed something he hadn't seen before. Zira was listening. Truly listening. Her 6 eyes didn't blink as he explained how humans connect not just physically but emotionally. He said, It's not just for making babies. We bond. We share feelings. We fall in love. Zira tilted her head. Love? Yeah. Love. It's messy and weird and makes us do stupid things, but it's beautiful. Zira went quiet. No one on Drazul ever spoke of love. Not like this. Mating on her planet was chemical pairing, efficient, sterile, and temporary. No one chose their partner because of feelings. Yet here was a human, choosing to explain something intimate, awkward, and vulnerable, with honesty. And for the first time in her long life, Zira felt something stir in her own chest, not a scan, not a test. Something emotional. Later that night, Eric sat on the apartment's balcony, staring at the stars. Zira stood silently beside him. You know, Eric said softly, This place felt like a prison when I got here. I thought you were going to eat me. I thought you were carrying a venomous snake in your trousers, she replied. They both laughed. Eric looked at her. But now, it kind of feels like home. Zira blinked, confused by the warmth in her chest. Perhaps humans are not as terrifying as I thought. She paused, then added, except when you sing in the shower. Eric grinned. Fair. The heat between worlds, the following days on Drajul 5 passed quietly, or so it looked on the outside. Eric returned to his engineering job at the energy fields. He repaired machines, took notes, and avoided reporters still obsessed with his now infamous wand of flesh. But at night, back in the apartment, he began noticing something odd about Zira. She no longer stared at him like a creature from a horror film. Now she stared like she was studying him, or maybe even admiring. She brought him extra food portions, adjusted the apartment temperature to earth levels, played earth jazz in the evenings. She also refused to meet his eyes. Eric finally asked, Zira, are you okay? Zira jumped. Yes, perfectly functional, no system errors. You've blinked 300 times in the last minute. Bugs in my eye fluids. Right. Later that night, Zira sat alone at her research desk again. She stared at Eric's image on her screen. Not naked this time, but smiling during one of their anatomy lessons. Her fingers trembled slightly as she reached to close the window. Her wrist scanner buzzed. She tapped it. Self-scan complete. Symptoms. Detected. Elevated core heat. Neural excitation. Emotional volatility. Diagnosis. You may be developing romantic interest in human subject Eric Maddox. Zira's jaw dropped. That's absurd. I'm not even his species. The scanner beeped again. Would you like a mating guide for cross-species bonding? Zira screamed and flung the device across the room. The next morning, Eric found Zira aggressively scrubbing the walls. Are you cleaning stress? He asked. No, I like sterile surfaces. You've never cleaned in 3 weeks. I've changed. Clean is life. Eric raised an eyebrow. You okay, Zira? I am malfunctioning. She paused. Functioning. Don't talk to me. She stormed off, her glowing skin visibly warmer than usual. Meanwhile, Eric had his own strange thoughts. He had started to enjoy coming home, not just because of peace and food, but because of her. Her weird questions, her blunt comments, the way she sometimes stood too close and didn't realize it, the way she blinked in confusion when he made a joke, and then laughed 5 seconds later, and sometimes, when she looked at him, there was a softness in her eyes. It made Eric's chest feel tight. He hadn't felt this since Earth. He asked himself the dangerous question, am I catching feelings? For an alien landlord with 6 eyes and no chill? That night, a thunderstorm hit Drajul 5. Purple lightning flashed through the sky. Eric stood at the balcony again, watching the alien storm roll in. Zira joined him silently, holding 2 cups of that strange tea again. He smiled. Still trying to bribe me for biology info? She didn't answer. Instead, she asked, does your kind feel warmth before love? Eric turned, surprised. That's kind of deep. I've been scanning myself, she admitted. I thought I was infected, but I'm not. I'm changing. Eric stepped closer. Zira, you're not infected. You're just feeling things. I don't like it, she said quickly. You're not supposed to like it, Eric replied. You're supposed to be confused, terrified, happy, excited, and stupid, all at once. Zira laughed softly. I feel all those, especially stupid. They stood in silence for a moment, wind blowing, lightning crackling, their bodies nearly touching. Then, a bolt struck a nearby tower and the apartment shook. Zira instinctively grabbed Eric, pulling him tight against her. They froze, her glowing skin pressed to his chest, his hands against her lower back. Her breath quickened. His heart raced, For a moment neither of them moved, and then Zira stepped back, blushing hard. That was there's an emergency embrace. Eric grinned. I've had a few of those, usually after bad tacos. She blinked. What are tacos? I'll show you sometime. Later that night, in her personal journal, Zira wrote a single sentence. Today I felt something I cannot explain, but if this is what being near a human does, and then I want to feel it again. Cross-species temptations, Zira paced her private lab like a malfunctioning drone. Her internal systems were spiking again. Temperature up, blood flow unstable, thoughts full of Eric. This wasn't science. This was chaos. I am a researcher. I do not feel flutters, she muttered. Her AI assistant blinked to life. Correction. You searched how to impress a human male 4 times last night. Silence, she snapped. The AI beeped again. Would you like to initiate Operation Cross-Species Courtship? Zira stared blankly. That's a thing? Meanwhile, Eric was struggling too. He had tried everything. Cold showers, long work shifts, even watching boring training videos, to stop thinking about his 9-foot-tall alien landlady. But none of it worked. Every time Zira walked by, he noticed her scent like glowing flowers and ozone. When she leaned in too close during their biology discussions, he forgot what language was. And when she laughed, God help him, he wasn't sure if she felt the same way, but lately, she was acting different. Like last night when she casually asked, is back touching a human mating signal? He almost choked on his noodles. Later that day, Eric found something strange on the living room table, a 3-page survey titled, What Does Your Species Find Romantic? It included questions like, do you respond positively to tail flicks? Is ear touching too intimate? Do humans enjoy chest glows during meals? Eric laughed so hard he dropped his tablet. But deep down, something in him warmed. She was trying. That evening, Zira invited him to dinner. The table was lit by soft bioluminescent lights. Alien plants glowed. The food was mostly edible. Eric smiled. Fancy setup. What's the occasion? Zira sat stiffly. Scientific curiosity. He raised a brow. You're doing science with a candlelight dinner? Yes. I am testing the effects of romantic settings on interspecies digestion. Eric leaned in, amused. So this is a date? Zira blinked. Possibly, but don't say that out loud. I might combust. They ate quietly, the tension thick but not uncomfortable. Afterward, Eric helped her clean the dishes. Their hands touched briefly under the running water. Neither pulled away. Then Eric said softly, Zira, if this were Earth, I'd kiss you right now. Zira's eyes widened. Why? Because I want to. And maybe you want to, too. Silence. Zira looked away. My kind doesn't kiss. Then maybe we invent something new, he said gently. Her heart, or whatever Drajul had in place of one, pounded harder. I'll think about it. That night, Zira lay in bed staring at her ceiling again. She whispered to herself, is this love? Am I capable of it? Then she asked the scarier question, is he? Next morning, things changed. Eric was told he'd been reassigned, transferred to another colony system. He'd have to leave tomorrow. He stood silently, holding the official notice. Zira walked in, paused, and saw the paper in his hands. What's that? She asked, already sensing something wrong. I'm being moved. Moved. Her voice dropped. Another job, another system. Her hands clenched. You're leaving? He nodded. I didn't ask for it. Zira turned away. It doesn't matter. You're not bound here. You're not even Drajul. He stepped closer. Zira? But, she interrupted, cold and sharp now. Pack your things. That night, Eric packed. Zira locked herself in her lab. Neither of them slept. They were both asking the same question. Why does this hurt so much? They didn't realize it yet, but they were no longer just landlord and tenant. They were something dangerously close to love. The goodbye that burned Zira had always believed she was immune to emotion. Her kind didn't do goodbyes. They simply disconnected. No attachments, no regrets. But as she listened to Eric moving around outside, folding clothes, zipping bags, muttering earth songs, she realized something terrifying. She had grown used to him. The way he smiled when confused. The way he burned breakfast but still claimed to be a chef. The way he said her name like it meant something. Now he was leaving, and she had no idea what to say to stop it. Eric sat on the edge of his bed, staring at a small silver button Zira had once given him. "Emergency room reset," she'd said casually weeks ago. "In case I ever bore you." He smiled faintly. Truth was, she never bored him. She confused him, frustrated him, scared him even, but mostly, she changed him. The final morning came. Quiet beep from Eric's datapad confirmed it. Shuttle arriving in 45 minutes. He looked around the apartment. It felt cold now. Empty. Zira still hadn't come out. He stood outside her door for a long time, then knocked. "Zira, I'm heading out." No answer. He waited. Still nothing. He sighed. "I guess this is goodbye," and turned to leave. Inside, Zira pressed her hand against the closed door. She wanted to say something. Anything but fear, raw and heavy, gripped her. Fear of looking weak, of being laughed at, of being told this wasn't real. She whispered, too late, "I don't want you to go." But Eric was already walking down the hallway. Outside, the sky was pale blue and humming with shuttle noise. Eric stood beside his bag as the transport descended. He looked up one last time at the apartment window, hoping to see her. But it was dark. The shuttle ramp opened with a hiss. He took one step, then another. Then he stopped and muttered under his breath, "No, not like this." He turned around and ran. Zira stood by the balcony holding a sealed capsule. Inside was something she built last night. A tiny translation device tuned to Eric's brainwaves. A gift. Something she meant to give him before he left. But now it was useless. She closed her hand over it, her fingers trembling. Then bang, the front door flew open. "Zira!" Eric shouted. She turned, startled. "You missed your shuttle!" "I know," he yelled, out of breath. "Because I didn't want to leave without saying the thing I should have said days ago." She blinked. "What thing?" He stepped closer, heart pounding. "I don't want to leave. Because this stupid, insane glowing place feels like home now. And that's not because of the walls or the sky or the weird noodles." He looked her straight in the eyes. "All 6 of them. It's because of you." Silence. Zira stared. Then she whispered, "I was afraid you didn't feel the same." Eric took another step. "You think I let my shuttle go for fun?" She laughed, quietly, nervously. Then she pulled out the small capsule. "This was my goodbye gift," she said. "But maybe it's better as a beginning." She placed it in his hand. It glowed softly. A voice inside the capsule spoke Eric's name, in her voice. "Welcome home," it said. They stood close now, not touching yet, but the space between them had never been smaller. Eric smiled. "So, now what?" Zira tilted her head. "You teach me how to kiss." He blinked. "Wait, seriously?" "I studied the technique," she said. "I would like to test the data." Eric stepped forward slowly. "Let's start with a slow version." She leaned in. Her skin glowed brighter, and when they kissed it was warm, awkward, electric, and perfect. The return and the revelation Zira had adjusted to the silence. Mostly, the apartment was clean now, too clean. Eric's scattered socks were gone. His weird earth music didn't echo from the bathroom anymore. The kitchen didn't smell like burnt toast. His room, untouched. She told herself she was fine. But some nights, she stood at his door, one hand on the handle, listening for footsteps that never came. Back on Earth, Eric tried to focus. New assignment. New station, new team, but everything felt off. His coffee tasted wrong, the stars looked colder, his bed felt empty, and his data pad still had a folder labeled Zira. He opened it every night. Then one morning a message blinked onto his screen. Position cancelled, reassignment error, return to Drajul 5, effective immediately. Eric stared, then he grinned. 1 week later, a knock echoed through Zira's apartment. She sighed. Probably another tenant complaint, or more rumors about the human wand of flesh. She opened the door and froze. There he was, Eric Maddox, standing in the hallway, holding flowers made of glowing Drajul silk, wearing the same dumb jacket, smiling like the past 3 months had never happened. Zira blinked. Am I hallucinating? Hopefully not, Eric said, or these flowers are going to waste. She snatched him inside before the neighbors could scream. They stood silently in the middle of the room. Eric looked around. You didn't change anything, she replied softly. I was waiting. For what? You. Obviously. He stepped closer. I came back because of a glitch in the system. But I stayed because I missed you more than I've missed anything in my life. Zira tilted her head. That sounds dangerous. He chuckled. Love usually is. Zira showed him a small project she had been working on during his absence. A device tuned to human emotions, designed to translate feelings, not just words. I built this, she said, because I didn't know how to say what I felt. Eric pressed the device gently. It glowed, and her voice, calm, shaky, real, played softly. I love you, Eric Maddox. I miss your laugh, your chaos, your strange cooking. And yes, even your Shea Hulud. Eric laughed, then stepped forward and kissed her. Not the awkward first kiss from before. This one was sure. Soft. Honest. Later that night, they sat together under the purple moons, wrapped in a shared blanket, watching lightning storms dance over the alien sea. Zira whispered, You changed everything, you know. Eric leaned his head against her shoulder. You changed me first. She held him tighter, then murmured, You're not just my human anymore. Eric looked up. No? She smiled. You're my mate, my chaos, my heart. And for once in the galaxy, there was no confusion, no fear, no misunderstandings, just a human and an alien, proving that love doesn't need the same body, the same planet, or even the same biology. Just two beings who dared to care, and somewhere deep in the night sky, a star glowed just a little bit brighter.